Hi, how are you? Hey, I want to talk to you today about something that's just come to mind for me. Uh, Lying. Anyway, I watched Fox today for about 10 or 15 minutes. That's my daily dose. And they, I didn't understand it. I mean, I think about it all the time. Criticism is not progress. Here you have a group of people who claim to be professionals, and the only thing they ever offer anybody is criticism, constant criticism. We rarely see suggestions, well, anyway, that's my take on it. Um, I wanted to talk about this new fight coming up because we're going to have another default issue in a short while here, and this is how the Republican Party spends its time. Presently, they are having meetings and getting together about their new strategy to defund the Affordable Care Act. You know, are they ever going to get beyond this hurdle? I wonder. I've given up on them as far as profitable legislation for the people of the United States. I just don't think that they're capable of producing anything because of the dysfunctionality of their organization, basically. Um, you know, I don't understand many things about this conservative Republican movement. One of the things that I don't understand about is the wish to control other people's lives. Uh, the hope of making decisions for a woman's health, for example. I can conceive uh, no legitimacy in making a decision for another individual's body unless they were not capable of doing it themselves. And certainly, uh, labor, pregnancy does not eliminate your cognizance, your ability to think even rationally. So I don't understand that. There's another issue too. The conservative right seems to be obsessed with their version of sin and trying to control the sins of others. And I can tell you, no one can sin for you, and you can't sin for anyone else. Sin is a very personal matter, and and so is religion. And there's another issue too. You know, what is all this self-righteous mentality? I mean, do they, this gung-ho approach from the Baptists and the Anabaptists and some of the evangelicals, what is this? Where's the root of this gung-ho approach? As if they uh, need to offer God their help. He's God. God doesn't need their help in settling issues that he's particular to, if any. Because based on my perception, God has just said to the world, run, and that's that. I believe in it. I'm sure of it. But I don't see any involvement. Uh, and in that aspect, those people who say, look, if there was a real God, would he allow the world to be in this condition? Well, you know what? As an argument to the Christian rights mentality, that's a viable argument. Absolutely viable. Now, Raphael, Ted, Dirtbag Cruz, him and Marco Rubio, just like Marco Rubio said when they lost the fight just a few weeks ago, when the president of the United States gave him a spanking, essentially beat the crap out of them and made them look like idiots and fools. Well, they liked it so much, and that's a sin. If you like to suffer in spite of God's willingness to help you out of it, uh, disobedience is a sin. But Marco Rubio says this fight is not over yet. You know, how can they, maybe a meteor needs to hit Earth, you know, hit the National Republican Committee, wherever they're meeting. I know that's not nice, but, I mean, is it going to take an act of God for them to realize it's a dead issue? The Affordable Care Act is what America wants, okay? The plurality, and I'll tell you why. Because the way the progress of the medical profession, uh, financially speaking, when it comes to taking care of the masses, has failed miserably, miserably. A great deal to do with it could be with Wall Street. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. A great deal could be with the doctors. A great deal. Maybe everyone is to blame, but it's immaterial. Something had to be done. uh, you know, why? And it's also a source of embarrassment that the only industrialized nation in the world that does not have a plan for its peoples uh, has been the United States. You know, and an issue that could not be more of more importance, more needed. So, but in any case, they want to waste our times. They wasted $24 billion. Now they got to pay the people who didn't work anyway, and you could see how full of baloney they are. They just go from one subject to another frivolously. Like, if you don't work, you don't eat. You got to have the baby, but it's okay if you don't want the baby. Do they? Are they ever going to come down to earth? Because they're not here. And of course, we know that the Christian right is largely motivated by money, and most preachers influence their flock through money. All this blah blah blah. Look, if a woman has an abortion, you didn't. It's not a sin to you. It's her problem. It's her issue with God. It's not your issue with God. Stay out of it. Mind your business. Did you make the baby? Well, then leave it alone. You know, I don't understand this mentality. How wealthy is a man's mind if the man feels he has to control the woman emotionally and in every aspect? That's insane. That's sick. So, my take on it, I'll tell you right now, is that 99.999% of the Christian conservatives' marriages aren't worth a penny. They're ludicrous, ludicrously stupid. They have to be. There's no equal footing. How good can a marriage be when there's no equal footing? Can't be that good. In any case, that's where we stand today, with with the conservative right trying to get involved in every singular issue. Now, here is the problem. Okay, here's the big picture. For over 5 years now, they have done everything they could to disrupt the American economy. And I'm going to tell you something. If they have succeeded at anything, that is something they have succeeded in. Our economy has not been able to formulate a shred of consistent progress. And I'll tell you why, as if you didn't know, because I'm certain you know why. Because they have intentionally, the Republican Party, these psychonuts, have intentionally thwarted every forward progressive economic movement through crisis generation, crisis fabrication, and crisis mentality, crisis mental thinking. And really, I believe when it comes to financial issues, the American people, the consumers, are shocked. They're shell shocked and tired of it. Absolutely tired of it. If anything, I would say a vote against a Republican in today's American world is a vote for a sigh of relief, for peace. because the American people cannot or should not support a small group of nitwits who, with each day, has grown less and less relative to the average American's way of life. We don't want to be told who to pray to. We don't want to be told what to do with our bodies. We don't want to be governed without health care. We don't want people telling us what is right and what is wrong. We know what's right. We know what's wrong. We know we can't avoid sometimes things that we do wrong. And luckily, sometimes we will do the right things. But in any case, it is the American people's business. And it's time this vermin, this cancerous affliction on the humanity of the American government and the peoples of the United States of America, this nonsense has to come to some kind of an end. In a democratic government, you vote them out. We're a hair's breadth away from 2014. The time to think about the 2014 elections is now. Excuse me. The time to think about this is now. I encourage people to do anything they can in some small way to help the America's independent progressive movement, because America cannot afford to go back in time. We know what's back there. We don't know what's forward. But we have to have the courage to move forward. There is no point in staying with the things that we know have already failed. We know the medical system has failed. We know presidents like George W. Bush, who can only think of their own greed and glorification, harm America. We are still suffering his legacy, and it's time, through your vote, that you get rid of every memory of those disastrous years. Wars will not solve America's problems, nor one man's ego. Remember that. Bush and the lying Republicans tried it. They ran a con job on the American people, and they're running another extended con job today with all their baloney and their refusal to let this country move forward. If they don't want to show up to vote, as is their duty, for whatever the issue, vote them out. Useless trash is useless trash, and there is no way to make it better. In fact, their brand of useless trash isn't even recyclable into something new and improved. Sometimes you just got to take a big boy step and see reality for what it is. And there's another thing. There is no age that God has determined for you to think clearly and forward. And there are no excuses for not using your mind daily as if it were a new birth. as if your mind, your intellect was born new again on a daily basis. Those of you who refuse to see the light, who remain committed to the conservative insanity of mind control, body control, sexual choices, it's time for your own benefit that you get yourself out of this insidious virus-like method of thinking. You're smarter than that. See things how they really are, not how you think they should be from your memories of decades ago, which no longer work. I'm going to let you go on that note. It's been a serious day for me, but I've had a lot of fun, and I wish you the best. Remember, my books, Pepito's Baseballs, Fidel's Hunger, by the way, I'm referring to Fidel Castro, and The Avocados, and Ricky's Confession, available on Amazon.com. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.